Match is tied again.
Wow.
That was one of the smoothest games of the match, but also I think Alireza made it way smoother than it had to be.
Yeah, that queen trade, I mean, it seems like this has been a minor theme. Alireza has the right ideas, but mistimes them sometimes, and it's cost him a couple half points. Now it's cost him a point, and Hikaru has tied the match once again. Very high quality from both players. These games have had so many stages, tactical and positional. We've gotten a little bit of everything so far, Levy.
We return to the line that Hikaru has played already. I think b5 is new. b5, bishop, b6. That's a return, I believe, to the previous game. Knight e2.
And go take my knight. I really want that structure.
Oh, that's fascinating. Knight to e2. Did he look at this on the break?
I mean, with the speed that he played it with, Hikaru says, I'm not taking that knight yet. We've seen h3 in every one of these lines, and somehow Hikaru hasn't shown the desire to keep his light-squared bishop. He's taken pretty enthusiastically, and maybe he's setting that up again.
These positions Hikaru goes for are actually very clever because he has about 2 plans. So it's really up to him to figure out what plan he's going for. Is he going for f6, or is he going for, the knight to f5 and the slightly more active play?
I assume he's castling kingside. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah, but I'm looking at the engine recommendations and long castles by black here.
It's not a safe assumption.
Wow.
Wow. Castles to the west.
He opened the c-file, gave up the light-squared bishop, which you would think, given all of the light-squared targets on the queen side, would be better for white. And the position is simply equal. I mean, the way he plays some of these openings, his preparation is really sensational.
I think black is better, practically, and the reason why is pretty simple. Look at the cluster of defensive force on the queen side, especially the bishop on b6. The pawn on c7 is solid as a rock. You're not really doing anything on the c-file. Black, on the other hand, is very quickly chipping away at white's central dominance. I mean, g5 could happen, f takes e5. White doesn't have forever, and Alireza could start pushing pawns, play a4. His own king is not that safe either, and the king side doesn't look like it solves all of white's problems here.
No, it doesn't. This is super tense. King is going to b7 to make a preparatory move to make sure all the pawns are protected in case white tries to play a4, b4, any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's well spotted. a6 will be protected.
And now black will start getting in a fight in the next few moves. I really don't like that white's king is just going to stay in the center for the rest of the game.
And I mean, maybe you castle kingside, but definitely not here, because the queen can deliver a check on g4. And you pointed out in a previous game, Levy, that the d4 pawn is constantly just an albatross around white's neck. You can't move either of your minor pieces.
That's not a saying. Stop saying that. That's not a thing. But you know, on break, like during the show, somebody's going to look it up. So
and see that there's no Google results.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I'm sorry. G6 just gives away a pawn with tempo, but it's bad because knight f5, right?
It's bad because knight f5 and the center opens up. And
yes.
Pawns are completely disposable in this match, no matter what variation we have.
Yeah, King's India and e45, it's all around the same. Also,
what's the move for white? How do you get the engine started on the queen side?
Alireza's time spent here is indicative of the fact that he is not too happy. These last 2 games, momentum is shifting.
Yeah, he's slowing this down. Even though this position's very dynamic, it's not exactly tactical, right? It's not like there's pieces flying at each other. It's more of a slow build-up, but once the center opens up, that's when things are going to get real.
It almost feels like Alireza can only make improving moves. All his pieces are out. He hasn't moved his queen yet, which I suppose he can move, let's say, to c2, but like at some point he's got to do something. Hey, how about this for an idea? Not that. That's not what I thought. That's not what I thought. I can't believe he just played that move. He's calling Hikaru's bluff. He just spent so much time looking at the position. He's calling his bluff, but it's a bad move.
And it's a bit of a panicky reaction, and I hope he has a follow-up in mind. Knight g8 was possible if Hikaru wanted to recapture that pawn ASAP, but that pawn's not going anywhere. b4, Levy, even knight b4 looks tempting.
Doesn't this just feel uncoordinated? You take on f6, you give up the light-squared bishop, which is supposed to attack the queen side, and now you attack. You tie your shoes together, and then you go run.
I don't do either of those things, especially not the second one.
Yeah.
Queen takes f6. Hikaru ignores the queen side. Now this is a target, though. Finally, Alireza has some meat that he can go for, something that he can hunt. The pawn on b5.
Hopefully he's not vegetarian. Queen d3 attacks the pawn on b5, and what happens if you play b4?
Okay, in before he plays it, Hikaru, again, he's ignored the queen side, masked his pieces in the center. Next question, what happens if queen takes b5?
I guess knight takes d4 with pins galore.
Oh, and queen takes d4.
And queen takes d4, yes, for the score.
We got to show that. Queen takes b5, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, jk, and queen takes d4.
With ideas of rook takes e3.
And rook takes e1 if you try to take the queen. And
Yes.
the queen check on c6 doesn't do anything. Just the blow glances off, and white's king is going to get surrounded.
But Hikaru just moves the pawn out of the way. He was like, you want pawn, me no give.
His king f1 was played to unpin the king.
Yep.
And now Alireza's swinging his rook around to e5.
But this is a huge improvement of the position for Alireza.
Knight g3. Better late than never.
Yeah, just preventing knight f5, not letting him know exactly. By the way, you could still maybe play rook e5 in some positions, but not necessary.
The computer's screaming out for rook a1. That's a mate in 2 threat. I wasn't looking at the a file at all, Levy. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, now we got to give it some attention. And by the way, how do you stop getting checkmated? Do we go rook a8?
But then d5 falls down at the end,
Yes,
opening up new vistas for the knight. Rook a1's a big move.
I mean, it's not complicated, yeah? You just threaten checkmate into.
But it's so easy to tunnel vision the c file and try to go queen b5, which hangs the d4 pawn once again.
Okay, so he's going to bring the knight first because he decided it served this purpose. Can we get a repetition? Knight e7, knight g3?
That's like those repetitions you get when you analyze an opening. The most random types of positions.
Yeah, the engine at some point is like, I'm good, I had a great time, bye, everybody, see you.
New Paris 2025.
Yep, exactly. Like, I had a fun time playing. Of course, we don't need a repetition here.
But we might get one.
Are you serious?
Alireza with 55 seconds.
No, Hikaru's not going to repeat, no way.
And Alireza knowing that preempts it by getting the rook to e5, now the queen on b5. Black is very much still under pressure.
The threat is rook takes rook, just in case anyone's wondering. Like, you are actually creating a threat. It's not just an improving move.
And queen takes b4 in the event of c6, loosening up the bishop and winning a pawn. Levy, this bishop on e3 is a hero.
Now yeah, I mean, it's walled in by 3 pawns on all sides, but it means that, whatever's going on right now in your life, things do get better.
Well, things have gotten better for Alireza here. I was, delivering the final prayers. Now suddenly he's in the driver's seat. How does Hikaru complicate this game? Does he trade on e5 and jump to h4?
If I knew how Hikaru complicates games, I would be as good as him, I have no clue. I must say, it looks like white has a ton of momentum right now. Maybe rook e6, yes, and if rook d5, c6, you have a fork.
Oh my gosh. That's a really cool idea. Rook to e6, it's a collinear move. A move on the same file.
And it's not in the top 3 lines of the engine, which means it's probably stupid. So that's exactly how life is in 2024.
Yeah, but we get to call the engine stupid, and it can't talk, so it can't call us stupid.
So what happens if you play rook e6?
So rook e6.
Oh,
you're right, rook d5. c6 does the job and forks the rook and the queen.
You got to be careful of rook a1.
Our old friend rook a1 and rook a8 just blunders d5 with multiple forks.
I don't get what the threat is, by the way. Queen a6, king c6, and you run the king to d7. I don't understand.
The threat, of course, is bishop d2. Okay, rook f8 has been played. Hikaru says, I want nothing to do with the e file. I want something to do with the f file.
He's going for counterplay because Alireza has 30 seconds to figure it out. Oh, he's not figuring it out. He is not figuring it out. Hikaru gave him a pawn. He goes for g5. This is excellent practical play. If Alireza Firouzja does not lose this game, it shows that he has nerves of steel. Queen b5, by the way, was the best move.
And a fantastic one at that. Swinging the queen with tempo. He hits d5, but he's trying to get it back to d3. Obviously, people should notice f takes g5 actually got mated because of knight takes e3.
And queen f2. Force mate, by the way.
Wherever you go.
There was maybe some ideas to survive. But, yeah. Okay.
Well, c6 is tempting, right?
Yes, it is. Can you imagine having 20 seconds in this position? Because you sit there with your nervous system overloading, like, oh my god, what is he going to do? Is he going to go c6? Is he going to play knight e3? Is he going to play g4?
And then he always plays the moves that you don't consider.
Yes, exactly. Like that one.
Like that one.
Now, bishop d2 is the best move, which no human being on earth plays here.
Okay, so what is black actually threatening? Black wants to just take h2 and deliver almost mate on h1. 10 seconds for Alireza. His position's crumbling.
Maybe you got to run king d2 or king e1, yeah?
Go for it. Get out of the king side.
Yes, and if Queen H2, there's Queen C6 ideas.
And Rook A1,
And Rook A1
loses a rook to Queen H1.
Oh my god, there's Queen H1. Okay, so King D2 and then Rook A1.
Hikaru now down to 50 seconds. He's thinking about taking H2. But Levy, worst comes to worst, the king can park itself on D2.
Yeah.
That C6 square, I mean, it's going to be weak for the rest of the game.
For sure. And at some point, Hikaru himself might play a rook on D6. Whoa, this blockade is really... Oh, he's sacrificing everything to open up the king.
And Rook A1, it's still there. 3 seconds for Alireza.
Can Alireza do it? He can play it?
1 second, he's got to do it.
He plays it. Now he has 2 seconds. He has 2 seconds to survive the attack on his king, and he's going to win the game.
Look at this. Hikaru can take the rook on E5, but it doesn't matter because he's going to get mated on A8. Can he find the checks to stay alive here?
Wow, and I said Alireza would be incredible if he didn't lose this game. He's going to win this game. I don't want to say anything just yet. Okay.
Queen C4, I mean, even if Hikaru trades queens, it's not an elementary conversion. Black has a pawn for the exchange. It's winning. But I've seen Hikaru pull off crazier draws than this,
Queen
like
C4.
earlier in the match.
Yes, but Queen C4 is doubling your C-pawns. That doesn't double your C-pawns, but there is Rook A5.
And it loses the D-pawn, and now it's a full exchange. And Alireza barely got the move off.
Yes, and Alireza has 3 seconds. As long as he doesn't panic, he should win this game.
And he's threatening to trade a pair of rooks, which will seal the deal immediately.
Okay. And the board has glitched a few
Hikaru has played King C6, Rook F6, H6 at the same time.
Yes, and Alireza has moved a few pieces around.
Such as his rooks, and he's made no progress.
Now, Alireza's plan here is to... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my.
This is like the new kind of bullet. That's what the cool people play. Alireza's still trying to convert. How is he the one with 3 seconds?
This game is going to go another 70 moves, probably, if even.
How does White win this? I think White wins this by surrounding this H-pawn.
But that's a huge benefit now, right? Because now the pawn is on a light square. Rook D5 is... Oh,
no pasaran. Hikaru getting his king to the support of the H-pawns, closing down the rooks. He's holding on for now.
Now walk the king to defend the B-pawn. That's probably what you do. Move the king. You got to move the king.
But where do you go? He goes to F3. Don't get mated. I mean, Rook A2. White's king is out of squares suddenly.
It has 1 second. Okay, never mind. He has 5 seconds. Okay, that was deceptive.
1 second. Okay, I'm sure he moved. I think he probably made 20 moves.
There we go.
There we go. King F2 with 0.5 seconds.
It's a crazy scramble. Both guys with less than 5 seconds on the clock. And here comes the king. Here comes the king. It's going to D7.
It goes. Rook F6 is their checkmate.
Oh, it's the rook. Oh, it's the... And that's it. And Alireza Firouzja wins the 6th game and takes a 1...